All right, we're live. This is session 5. I always lose count of these things. Of our Into the Wild campaign. This is a campaign that focuses on environmental, players versus environment, based off of many ideas in the Cinematic Environs system, which I urge you all to check out on DriveThruRPG. I'll put a link in the description. All right, previously in our campaign, the PCs were traveling across the Cursed Desert, and so named because when you die there, you are cursed to come back as an undead, doing the last thing you are doing in life. The PCs are a little more than halfway across the desert. They have left the temple, full of earth statues, stone golems, and a female there. From there, they acquired a ring there, which Kalen is wearing. It has changed him somewhat, but also given him some benefits. And you guys traveled about a day and a half from there to an area called Bone Lake, which was dozens of miles off where your less than accurate map said it should be. Bone Lake is a lake of probably toxic water. There was skeletons of animals and even people that had been drinking from the lake when they died, and you found those undead creatures, abominations if you want, and destroyed them. At least Pei went out of her way to destroy them. And I believe that's where we've left off. So I think you guys had just camped a little beyond that lake, and that's where we're going to pick it up. And this is the 8th or 9th day across the Cursed Desert. So I'm going to go from left to right on my screen. You guys can describe your character a little bit, and then we'll get going. So first I have Alex B playing Pei Rightmap.
Hi, I am playing Pei Rightmap. She is a cartographer turned explorer with the goal to make a map of the whole world that's actually accurate, because adventurers are terrible cartographers. And she's also a warlock, I guess, but that's not really her thing. She's a cartographer.
Okay, next is Kalen Aldreth, Alex G.
All right, Kalen is, as you see on the screen here, he's sort of an ex-nobleman who was raised by not his father, but someone who taught him about the wonders of survival and adventuring, and he's sort of had that desire his whole life, and he sort of started this expedition to follow in the footsteps of his heroes. And what started as this, what he expected to simply an epic journey into the wilds, has turned different for him, and he's trying to cope with that. He's trying to come to grips more, not just with the survival, but also the realization that there's more going on that he hadn't counted on, even as he looks at his changing skin and how he feels. He's well, right now he's fairly quiet, but he's sort of going over the camels and taking inventory of what everyone has and making sure everything is still secure and whatnot at the moment.
Okay. And that next is DBJ, who's playing a wood elf, Vicus.
Yes, I'm playing Vicus the Jack, a kind of a tribalistic wood elf, really a plains runner, and being in the desert has kind of rubbed him raw. He's left his people, and he desires to live his life to honor the old ways. And this traveling through the deserts kind of challenged him in his beliefs, which although he believes in like the old gods and the old ways and such, he's come to question himself. And especially with his encounter with Ku and some of the others in the group, he's starting to rebuild his and religious foundation, and is finding a new purpose in this accursed desert.
Okay, and finally we have Steve. He's playing Ku, who had a vision last time, I forgot to mention, of traveling to a mountain, perhaps a volcano, somewhere in his homelands. So go ahead, Steve.
So Ku is a dwarf from the volcanic region, I guess to the north, a good ways to the north, who is, in his opinion, and hasn't been proven wrong yet, has been tasked by, at the very least, his gods, if not all of them, to figure out what is going on with this disruption in people's ability to do magic, and sought out this group of individuals because of a vision, which are granted to him through a magic bowl that is from the temple where his mother is a priestess. And he has continued to have these visions, although they're not very clear, either because of his inability to harness the magic that's required to use them, or because of this same sort of magical disruption. But so far, at least, I guess snippets of them have been accurate, if not forbiddingly so. The only true confusion in the world right this second is, are there 20 more of those temples, or 19 more of those temples?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the answer to that will have to wait for a bit. But as you march towards your mountain homelands, a little more than halfway across the cursed desert, once again, you've been here for 8 days now, and actually it's probably more like 12 days in the desert, but 8 days in the cursed desert proper. You're all much more tanned than you started out. Your skin, despite the use of creams and trying to keep yourself well moisturized, is certainly drier, and small cracks on the surface, along your lips and around your eyes. Wrinkles show more, things like that. The heat is definitely this exposure to the sun and the elements is definitely changing you, despite all your precautions. And at that, I'm going to have everyone make me a Constitution roll. This is for heat exhaustion. The DC is 5. It's early in the day. The DC will get harder. So the day goes on.
Yeah, I rolled a 7, so okay.
Okay. Those who succeed, you still feel the sort of weariness of the heat, but it's not enough to slow you down. But it's still oppressive and maybe even depressing sometimes, like just every day. You've crest a little ridge, and you're basically, the area you're traveling across is overall flat in that it's low dunes, and you make your way in a slightly zigzaggy pattern to minimize the amount of going up and down. Like you're sort of following a flat kind of path in the basic direction you want to go. I'm going to have either Kalen or Pei, your guys choose, make me a navigation roll to see that you can stay on course.
Pei, why don't you do it?
A lot of markers out here.
Pei, why don't you do it? Kalen is a bit distracted anyway.
What is that based on? Do I add my wisdom?
Survival, and because you have a map and you map skills, you can make the roll with advantage.
Oh, good advantage.
The DC is 10. Well, technically you don't know if you go, of course.
Yeah. Well, I got an 18 plus 1 for wisdom, plus I should be proficient in this. I'm making maps.
Right.
Yeah, you can You just need to read me the total. I don't need the math. And so,
21.
to the best you can tell, you're still on course. You can't see any mountains yet, but it'll probably be a few days yet before you can. But you think you're traveling roughly northwest.
If I recall, there's other water near Bone Lake, right? Do I see any of that?
Well, near is relative.
Yeah.
Near is relative. According to the map, there are some other salty lakes within 50 miles here or there. There is an oasis known as Arroyo's Favor that you're headed for. That's probably about another day and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
That was a place you were aiming for all along. Your Uncle Morse, Kalen's Uncle Morse, suggested stopping there. He mentioned it.
Yeah.
And it was you could have planned into your route. But it's about a day and a half away. Right now, you just got this endless expanse of sand and sun, no clouds, just hot, hot, hot. And you guys march on. The camels grunting.
At one point, I end up walking next to Vicus, and I say, "I wonder if we should switch the water around in the camels. Maybe spread them out a bit more. We have half of them are still carrying full load of water. It might be good to distribute them more evenly. What do you think?"
It's a great idea, but do we want to? If we stop now, I don't know if we want to continue.
Oh no,
Yes.
no!
We make camp.
Yes, when we make camp. I just
Yeah.
it.
We don't know what dangers they're going to bring. I think that's a great idea.
We can do the same with the food as well. The good news is I take out my little scroll and I open it up. Not that he sort of cares. You see all my scratchings on it. You also notice that up at the top when we started, it's really neat and orderly. Now it's like more roughly hand scribbled. It's still in columns, but it's definitely, just all right, fine. It's still legible, but it's getting less so as time goes on.
Right.
But I say, well, good news is we're doing fair with our food and water if things continue on. I've marked the one barrel that we put some of that accursed bone water in, for whatever reason, and well, we'll be across soon. And I kind of give him a pat on the shoulder.
So you guys bear on, and the heat is just pounding, oppressive, just relentless.
By the way,
go ahead.
That was bardic inspiration for your next save, just in case.
Excellent. Well done.
Here, I thought you were trying to pop a heat blister.
Yeah, you do have creams you have to apply from time to time to keep those kind of things from happening. Heat blisters and sunburn and stuff like that, and it makes sand stick to it sometimes, stuff like that. So it's just kind of miserable. You guys go till about noon. It's really you just have the sun to approximate the time by. You stop again as it hits high sun. I'm going to have you all make me heat exhaustion checks, please. And the DC for this, because it's high sun, goes up by 5. So the DC is 11.
Okay.
This is a constitution check.
Okay.
No!
What'd you get?
If you fail, you gain 1 level of exhaustion.
Don't forget your inspiration, which is a D8, I think. Is it D6 or D8? I forget again.
Is it?
You can add.
Okay.
Yeah, you can add a D6 to that, I think. Yeah.
I'm thinking if I'll I rolled a 1.
Oh, don't bother.
I would have to roll really good to try to.
Yeah.
Might as well save it.
A D6 will not help you there.
Yeah. Normally
It will
the
not
DC would be 6 here, but because it's high sun, the DC is increased by
Yeah.
5. This is the hottest
Right.
part of the day. This sun is pounding down.
Oh, wow.
Poor Vicus. You never roll well for these things.
Okay. Levels of exhaustion.
The sun continues to blaze in the sky. At the very limits of your vision to the east, you think you see one tiny, tiny puff of cloud. Other than that, it's just endless blue.
I'm gonna do it when I see Vicus sort of having trouble. I kind of go over to him and I kind of crouch down and I'm gonna take one of my rations of water and I'm going to sort of pour it onto a rag and I'm gonna basically put it on top of his head. Here, you need this. And I'm kind of looking at his eyes and like feeling his temperature. It's like you're going to be in trouble if you don't cool off soon. Yeah.
I kind of feebly try to brush his hand away. Like, no, we're going to need that.
We're fine. We're fine. We're only a day. We're only a day away from the oasis. We'll be able to replenish our stores. As I said, we're doing well. Just cool off. And but I did give him my ration for the evening.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'll take his exhaustion for him. Is what I'm thinking. If you'll allow that.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
You can transfer exhaustion, though. Really.
Well, it's not exactly what I'm doing, but I figure if I'm giving him my ration of water, to cool him off and make him feel better,
I wonder if that'd be one of the things that maybe, as dumb as it sounds, would grant him advantage on his next check, but at the same time grant you disadvantage.
Yeah, that could do it too.
All right,
I don't know.
I'm fine with that.
That's interesting.
I'll roll with
Yeah,
that.
I'll leave it
I'll roll with that.
That's a really kind of cool mechanic. I hadn't thought about that. Like when you're doing survival like this, if someone is sharing rations or giving someone the like, how do you mechanically? That's a really cool idea, Alex.
I like the idea of it giving advantage on the next check. I'm just not so sure about the undoing what's already done kind of thing.
Yeah, no,
you need rest, really.
Cool. Yeah. No, that's cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna have everyone make me another con check. This is you got to make this. This is for sun blindness. This is just for the never-ending glare of the sun. The DC is 10.
All right. All right. 11. So I'm all set.
If you fail, you're going to have disadvantage on perception checks until you get a long rest in. If you are already at exhaustion, you're already on disadvantage on perception checks anyway, so there's no additional penalty. You guys finish your lunch. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm rolling for something else. Okay, go ahead.
All right. You guys finish your lunch and move out again. The camels have to eat, of course. When they do, they eat probably a couple of pounds of food each.
Yep.
And then you guys move on, and the heat's bearing down again. I'm going to have you make me one more constitution check. This is about halfway through the afternoon for exhaustion. The DC is 7. We're past the high sun.
So I'll be at disadvantage. I'll be at advantage this time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And 15 and 11.
Okay. You see a 7. If you fail, you get a level of exhaustion. You don't tell me even. Just note it. So you guys press on into the sun. You notice to your left, and you only notice it because it's not particularly special, but there's nothing out here of note. You see a section of somewhat exposed rock slightly off your path. It's a raised area of rock, probably about a half a mile long, and it's maybe 30 feet taller than the rest of the, you know, plane of ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really in your way, but it's something that's out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Whereabouts is it in relation to us?
It's just slightly off your path to the right. Like it's not much of a diversion if you want to go there.
Yeah.
As I said, you can just see it's something other than the color of sand
Right.
on the ground. It's like some exposed rock.
Are we approaching evening at this point?
You're probably got 4 hours away yet.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible we can find some shade maybe in the rock?
We might. The thought it occurred to me to if we can find shelter there, it could make for an easier evening. A good piece of rock like that will also absorb heat during the day and radiate it during the night. Make us a bit warmer if we camp up against it. But we're still too far. We're still too early to set up camp yet. Well, perhaps we'll swing. We'll travel a little bit closer to it. If we see anything worth diverting for, we'll do so. If not, we'll just continue on. Unless anyone has any objections.
I just want to describe it a little better to you. It doesn't look like a rock necessarily, just exposed rock in general. Mm-hmm. And that is, it's not terribly exposed. It's probably about 70% covered by sand. And it's just like a bump. Like it's like for an area, the ground is about 30 feet higher than the rest of the ground.
All right. But it looks more natural than than rectangular or anything like that.
Yes, it looks less incongruous than the temple did.
Right.
And the rock looks like rock. It doesn't look like.
Well, we'll still. Again, if it's not going to take us too far away, we'll just divert very slightly towards it, and just to bring us, within say quarter mile of them.
Yeah. Well, they're already that close.
Okay, cool.
So this is a raised area. It goes up on a very gentle slope of sand. Really, most of it is covered in sand, about maybe 30 degrees and about 30 feet.
Okay.
You can't see the top of it from where you are, but you could walk up the sand if you wanted.
Okay.
It's about, I don't know, it goes for about half a mile or maybe more in all directions.
Goes for half a mile? Oh, you mean
the whole raised area is maybe a half a mile or maybe 3/4 of a mile.
Oh, so it's
just size. Just imagine the ground and there's a little area that's like this, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We'll definitely go a bit closer then and take a look at it, see if there's any kind of.
So you want to go up on top of it?
Well, I think as we go past, I'll take a kind of a run up the hill and see what's up there. Okay,
so you go up to the top. If the rest of you I'm going to assume are at the bottom, unless you tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
When you're up there, you just see more sand. It doesn't look really any different up there than it does down below, except that you can see maybe about 100 yards from where you come up, a large hole in the ground.
Oh. That could be extremely useful. Yeah. So
heat, sun.
Yeah, I kind of wave my arms down to. I kind of wave my arms down to them, and I kind of make my hands into a circle shape, and I point over there, and trying to basically pantomime a hole in the ground.
So you see Kaylin pantomiming a basketball hoop.
What is basketball?
I'm trying to figure out if if Pei can figure out what he's trying to do.
I'm gonna level up. Let you choose.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just gonna
roll.
let
To
you
see.
choose. I don't care if you roll or not. You
I'm
just
gonna
choose
roll.
however you want.
Oh no, yeah. Pei's like, oh, okay. So well, I got a 19. So yeah, Pei figured it out. There's a hole up there.
You got that? You got a hole from that?
Yeah, I'm gonna send. I'm gonna send Phaedric up there to go look at the hole.
All right. So this owl flies over your head, Kalen, towards this hole, which is about
Okay.
100 yards beyond where you're at. And keep in mind, from 100 yards away, you're just looking at it like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you don't have a great view of it from where you're.
Right.
When the owl gets overhead, now this owl, how does this work? How does this work again? He's just a regular owl, and he sort of talks to you in owl intelligence. You don't. Is it seeing through his eyes? I don't know. There's different versions. So.
Okay. Naturally, it's technically a celestial owl. And it's just an owl. It's not above intelligent or anything. It's just an owl. We communicate
Okay.
empathically. I can talk to it, but it can only empathically communicate back. And if I spend my action, I can stop seeing through my eyes and see through its eyes instead.
Okay. So it flies over the hole, does
Yeah.
a circle, and then flies back to you.
I'll go. You know, kind of jogging up to where the hole is. and
Okay,
take a
so
look.
obviously I'm going to look through its eyes to see. Do I see anything interesting, or is it just a hole in the ground?
So I'll describe it. So the hole is fairly circular, although not perfectly so.
Right.
And it seems to go right into the stone,
Mhm.
and it goes down beyond I'm going to say the light goes down about 15 feet. But the hole is fairly straight down, although not quite straight down. It's not quite perpendicular to the ground. It goes down at least 15 feet, and then, that's as far as light goes. Natural light penetrates down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna crawl up. I'm gonna move up to the edge, and I'm not gonna go walk up and stand on the edge. When I get within like
Okay.
5 feet or so, I'm gonna kind of get hunkered down and then kind of crawl over to the edge so I can put my face over it and peer in. And I take an inhale to see if I can smell any water. See if or coolness or anything like that. Some kind of indication. Of what might be
Make
down
me
there.
a perception check.
Okay. 15.
You smell sand.
Okay, but is there? I mean, it certainly must feel at least a little cooler in there, or
I guess, like in the shadows, it would, right?
yeah,
This hole's about, as I said, about 10 feet across.
yeah. I will. I'm gonna strike a. I don't have a torch on me, but I'm gonna strike a bit of parchment. I'll tear a bit off of a scroll that I have on my side.
Okay.
I'll just ignite it with prestidigitation, and I'll just
All
drop
right.
this little burning bit of paper down in there to see as it burns, to see if it casts in it a little bit of light. Give me some idea of what's down there.
All right. So I'll say the burning bit of paper flutters down, burning the whole time. And then it's going to hit bottom. It hits a sort of bottom at about 30 feet and then burns there. Now, the bottom, it's not like a flat bottom. The bottom, it looks like the tunnel goes like this and then kind of just goes like that. You get me? And so it's kind of like at the elbow, if you will, is where your piece of paper lands and then sputters.
Yeah.
And that's
So
about 30
more-
feet down.
More like a burrow, if you will.
Could be.
How big around did you say it was again?
10 feet.
It's about 10 feet across.
I'm trying to figure out the angle of flying. If an owl can fly down there and then fly back up.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite perpendicular, but it's close to it.
Yeah, owls are pretty maneuverable. I think you could do it.
It's 10 feet. It's not like it's a
Yeah.
foot diameter pipe.
Right. He's not trying to hit an exhaust port on a Death Star or something.
I was just thinking that. I literally was about to make a desert womp rat comment, but
Those are 2 meters across. Not much bigger
right.
than a womp rat.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't see any point in climbing down there. I don't see any sign of water. I don't see any sign of anything interesting. If we were ready to camp, it might be a good place to to get out of the elements. But it's too early for that. So
yeah,
plus we wouldn't get the camels down there. So probably not a good idea.
We are not on a strict timeline, and Vicus could use the extra rest. And then I look at Vicus and realize that I might have come across a little insulting, and so I actually
can't take it.
I slump forward a little bit, and we all could. And
oh man, that's so condescending.
So I'm just out of curiosity here now. You estimated the trip across the desert to take about 10 days, and I think you took about 12 days worth of food and water.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to influence you. I'm just trying to know.
Hey,
Well,
one thing I'm not survival expert.
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be.
No.
I'm
doing this
not
for
with
like
him.
everybody's memory because it's been a while since we played too.
I'm not with him at the moment. But my point is going to be that we actually are on a time schedule because the longer we're out here, the more water we're drinking, and at the very least.
You also sort of diverted to the temple for a day too.
Yeah.
Well,
But in fairness, we saved basically a day and a half worth of food at the temple also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a tray.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's why I amended it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm gonna head back to them anyway, and so we can have this conversation once I return.
The camels are down at the bottom.
Yeah.
I listened to camel sounds, by the way, today. God, they make some horrible sounds.
I know.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible, honestly.
Yeah.
On your way down, Pay is on her way up.
I won't ask why you listen to camel sounds, but that's your own personal business.
Research.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways,
that's the story he's sticking to.
As you're on your way down, Pay is on her way up because she's already convinced that we have to go check this thing out.
I say, Pay, it's just a hole in the ground. Unfortunately, nothing, no water. I was kind of hoping.
But it's
it
a hole
was
in
dry
the ground.
rock.
Yeah. As she just kind of keeps walking past me, ignoring me entirely, I kind of turn that. But with time is, and I keep going down the hilltop to the others.
But there's a hole in the ground. You don't understand, Kaylin.
You don't need to. I would kind of walk away mumbling. Probably,
Mark
she
it
might
on
not
the
even
map, and then we'll keep going.
She might not even hear me, but I kind of walk away mumbling about, you don't have to go into every hole you see. When I get down to the to Vicus and Ku, I say, it's a simple hole in the rock. It looks like it might curve after it goes down a bit, and if it were later in the day, I'd suggest using it for shelter. But there's no water. I didn't see any other interesting features that would make us linger here more than necessary. Pei, on the other hand, has other ideas, so we may have to rescue her.
So this not vertical slope, does it look like it could be climbed down? Like, is it like rocky enough? Or do I think I need to find a way to attach a rope?
You'd have to, yeah. It's not like smooth like a pipe, but it's certainly not smooth enough to cling to either. And it's about 85 degrees or 80 degrees. It's pretty damn close to vertical. So the rest of you at the bottom of the hill, how do you respond to what Kaylin says?
Well, I say, Kaylin, Pei may need some assistance. I'm willing to do that. If everyone's okay with that. They may have seen something that you might have missed.
Well,
Bless you.
I say, we are as I told you earlier, because we are doing okay on the water situation, but if we run into trouble, or luck forbid something happens to any of our supplies, we could be in trouble. But we do have an oasis hopefully coming up, and if you both feel it's worth the risk, then we can stop a bit early today, rest, and maybe make use of this place. And we can't get the camels inside. We may be able to get inside and get some shelter.
I could really use the shade, honestly. But Pei has a keen eye for finding things. I
don't disagree with that. Ku, what do you think?
That's what I think. It is okay. Either way with me. I know it may surprise you, but not all dwarves are interested in holes in the ground.
I do not believe you.
Well, then
it is a nice diversion, if nothing else. And I kind of gesture towards the otherwise exactly same bleak landscape ahead of us.
Yeah, I nod at that, and I take another look at Vicus as he's sort of like, I notice he's breathing heavy. I notice he's even worse than sweating. He's not sweating as much as he should, and I notice that as well. And it's like, yes, it might be a good distraction at least. I think we'll do fine. Let's get the camels up there.
I don't know why, but in my mind, I have this image that Pei is on top of the hill right now, talking to her owl, trying to convince it to hold the rope so she can climb down.
No, I have pittons. I'm currently trying to figure out how you hammer pittons into the side of a
thing.
Well, that whole surface up there is rock.
Yeah,
it's covered in sand. It's mostly covered in sand.
I've still never done this before. I don't know how to put pittons into rocks.
Hit it really hard.
Yeah, well.
So I guess as we get the camels up there, and I see her doing that, I'll walk over. No, this is not right. And I'll adjust it, and I'll like. I am very dwarvy in the moment. I get down on my hands and knees, and I dust away some sand, and I look at the stone. I go, and I spit onto it to watch which way it rolls for a moment.
Down into the hole, mostly?
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah. Here. And I'll take the hammer from her, and I'll start driving one of the pittons into a portion of the exposed rock.
Okay, absolutely. So just to give you a bit of a visual, from where you guys were at the bottom of this rise to where the hole is about 500 feet. Okay, so you can easily walk it. As I said, it's a gentle slope, but you walk up, you lead all the camels onto the top of this thing, do you?
Yeah. Okay. And like I said, the good news is that this rock should be a good thermal mass. So, especially where the sand is thinner, so that up here should trap a good amount of heat during the day and radiate it at night. So, even the camels will be a bit warmer.
That's fine. So you guys are Pei and Ku are over by this rock, and I'm going to imagine that Kalen and Vicus and you guys are leading all the camels up there. This train of camels.
Yeah, all bold is taking up the rear.
Very good, sir.
Yeah, so as soon as we get up there, I say, all bold, if you could secure the camels over here, maybe we could anchor some pitons into the ground and tie them to that so they don't wander off on us.
If you wish, sir, it makes the camels, it upsets them when they're anchored. They seem to stay close. It is up to you.
We can give them some slack, but I'd rather anchor them. I'll talk to them before a little later on.
Okay.
I speak with animals and animal friendship, so.
No, it's just funny. It just seemed to be funny. I'll talk to the camels. I'll straighten it out with them. Don't worry. It just struck me as funny. Okay, so Pei and Ku, can you just describe for me a little bit of how you're going about this? So this, as I said, this hole is about 10 feet diameter, roughly circular.
Yep.
And you're hammering holes, like you're hammering pitons like into the top near the hole, I'm assuming. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's my assumption. I'm hammering them in, and then I will take whatever rope she was planning on using and fasten it to one of the pitons, and then throw it over the edge of this drop, and that's kind of it. Like.
Well, I guess what I was asking is, are you putting them like kind of around the circle, or like in a line running away from the circle?
Oh, I'm literally just gonna drive two of them to use one as an initial anchor point and one used as a brake, so that if the first one fails, it catches to the second one. I mean that's
okay. So I'm no mountain climber, so maybe you drive a piton in 5 feet away from the hole, and then another one kind of at the edge of the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have 2 full sets of climbing gear, so.
I just like the visual. I'm just asking for the visual. I'm not looking for anything to burn you guys with.
Oh no, I know. I'm just letting you know what we got.
I have a whole bunch of silk rope that's pre-knotted.
Cool.
So you're only driving 2 pitons in, and Kaylin's going to talk to a bunch of camels and get them all sort of staked down. That makes sense to me. That's going to take longer than what you guys are doing.
Probably, yeah.
So you get the 2 pitons driven in, and then what do you do while he's doing his camel thing?
Oh, pace down.
I was gonna say, meanwhile in the background, you see like the semicircle of camels all looking in at me, like all of them kind of nodding as I'm talking. Like, you know.
Some of them are smoking cigarettes, standing on their hind legs.
Well, of course they'd be smoking cigarettes. That's
Joe Camel, right?
And we actually do a camel named Joe, by the way, number 6.
So what did you say, Pei?
Pei's going to kick the piton to ensure that it's nice and stable in there, and then she's just going to go down there.
Okay, so you're going down on a rope.
Come on, Vicus, come on. Let's go. Let's go look.
Okay.
Mentally, I want to come, but I'm like cramping a little bit, so I'm like, and I do a stiff walk over there and get ready to go down into the pit, because I'm looking for some shade. That's really what my desire is for. Some cool subterranean air.
So as Pei starts down into the hole, Kaylin is hammering these. Vicus is walking towards the hole. Ku is standing nearby, perhaps waiting for his turn. I want you all to make me a perception check, please.
Oh, that's not good. I did terrible. 9 total.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll for all bold or
16?
Sure. I'll let you roll for all
I
bold.
don't know something he would see, but just
Yeah, it makes sense here.
nah, he's busy doing what I do. I think he got like a 7, so
All right.
he's not
I'm
doing
using
good.
I'm using a group check here.
Okay.
18 for Ku.
What? Okay. And what did you get there, Vicus? Because right now I'm at 2 and 2.
16.
16? Okay. So some of you at least notice to the north a mass of dark clouds forming. It wasn't there a moment ago.
Uh-oh. So as soon as someone points it out, I kind of stand up and I kind of pull my hat down to shade my eyes more, the wide brimmed hat, and actually I'm gonna get the spyglass out and I'll stretch it open and I kind of peer out at this cloud.
Okay. Before I tell you what you see, I want to know how the other three react to this.
So do I see it before I start climbing down? Then I assume.
So I picture it this way: you got the rope in your hands, you're on the surface, and like you just start your sort of Batman thing going over the edge of the roof when you notice it.
Well, okay. Pay's gonna scrabble up really quickly, and then she's gonna try and take a peek at it because she also has a spyglass.
Excellent. So Vicus.
I'm mildly happy. Like, oh, at least we might get some, I don't know, maybe rain or some cloud cover or something. I really don't see a problem with it.
Okay. And Koo?
I look that direction, but I'm also slightly miffed that I spent all this time driving these pitons in, and at the side of the cloud, she just abandoned it.
No, you misunderstood. She's still holding onto the rope halfway down with one hand. She's just let go with the other hand. Is now looking in. She's half her body is still into this hole.
Kayla's just kind of murmuring to herself, no, come on, no.
Okay, so
please no.
Kaylin and Pay, I'm going to let you describe what I tell you to the other companions. You notice that these clouds are like dust clouds. It's like they're clouds made of dust more than, the normal atmospheric grays and stuff you would see. And they're very low to the ground, and they're approaching very rapidly.
Pay is going to just straight up laugh and say, "All right, everyone to the hole. I was right."
Yeah, I slap my spyglass shut. It's like, all right, everyone, we need to get the gear down into the hole as quickly as possible.
All of you can notice
the
this
camels.
thing. All of you, you can respond in a second. All of you can notice this thing is like rushing forward, almost like a flash flood of sand rushing at you. It's going to be upon you in less than 30 seconds.
Okay. Oh, that
guy. What did you want to say there?
I shrugged my shoulders and just gestured to the camels, and what about the camels?
Two of them have been pitoned at this point.
There's nothing we can do. I'm going to tie the other ones to the two that are pitoned, basically kind of just kind of daisy chain together.
Okay.
So I'm just swinging the ropes through them and say, yelling
so seconds
to
count here.
Yep.
So you're doing that. Allbold is doing that. Very good, sir.
And I'm yelling at the camels to lay down. Still using speak with animals, and to get them to just lay down.
All right, while you're tying them. Okay, and is anyone assisting, or are you guys booking it for the hole, or what are you going to do? Now, there's only a single rope there, so you're probably going to have to go down one at a time.
Yeah, I basically point to the three of them, whether they listen to me or not, I don't care. But to Pay, to Vicus, and to Koo, I say, get in the hole quickly. Go.
Visibility is now down to like 10 feet. Sand, dust is whipping through the air.
Go!
Yeah, Pay
is, guys?
Pay is going down the second she sees the storm. She's told everyone to come down. She forgot there were camels.
Sure. Okay, so you run over there. You start like down the rope into this hole. I'm gonna ask you to make me an athletics check.
To be fair, I don't run anywhere. I'm already halfway in the hole.
Fine. The DC is 5, just a climbing roll, made very easy by the fact you've got a rope.
I got a 4.
Okay, so you see Pay start into the hole and then shoot, gone.
I rolled a 4, and I was like, surely I have a +1 from. Nope.
Vicus.
Man,
We were talking about this before game.
Staying out of the hole.
you're freaking
I'm doing like a 3-point stand with my hand on the edge of the pit, but I want to wait for everybody else to go in before I make a move.
Okay, so Ku, if you are going into the hole, I'm going to let him assist you, give you a bonus to your roll.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I will go down the rope.
All right, you're going to have to make me an ability check, and the DC for you is going to be 3 because you have Vicus's assistance.
Okay. 19. Can I make it?
All right, so you start down the hole into this, and eventually in the darkness, you can hear Pei below you. All right, so the sand has you get the camels tied off. The sand has whipped to the point where visibility is 0.
Yep.
You can feel the sand abrading your skin.
Yep. So what I'm doing is I kind of cup my hands towards Elbow and say, "Get to the hole, Elbow, go!" If
he responds, you don't hear him.
Yeah, I assume that he hopefully heard me, and I'm going to pull the clav out from around my neck and start wrapping it around my head.
Okay.
For getting that in place. I'm kind of using. Now the camel's sort of laying down, and they're meant for this sort of thing, so they know how to deal with it.
You're standing over a camel, you can barely see it. The visibility is 0.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm actually on the ground next to one, and I'm kind of like, kind of in between two of them, using it as what little cover I can get, and then trying to wrap this clav around my head to protect myself from the.
Okay. Is it your intention to stay out here, or are you going to make for the hole?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of making it up as we go. But
I will tell you that the intensity has been increasing and seems to be still increasing.
Yeah, I do. I just want to make sure I get this clav on my head first.
All right, Vicus.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I was hoping Caitlin was going to be next down the hole, and I'm waiting for him.
You see
enter.
You see Albold go past you and down the rope.
Oh, good.
Okay, so it's now. You're gonna have to make me, if you want to continue to stand, you're gonna have to make me a strength check.
All right. And I'm exhausted, so I have a disadvantage on that. Mm-hmm. And 3.
Okay, so the force of the wind in the sand drives you to the ground. You can feel the sand like just raking over you. It's starting to sting. That also goes true for you, Caleb.
Yeah.
The camels, from the little bits you can hear over the screaming wind, are also screaming.
Okay.
Meanwhile, down in the hole, Pei, I'm going to have you roll me 5d6.
5d6? Oh, I'm going to die.
Yeah, you take some falling damage.
Yeah.
5.
DC was 5, dude. What can I say? I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. My familiar aided other. There you go.
An owl?
Hey.
So, whatever the total of that is, that's what you take in falling damage.
Yeah.
Stepping down, not quite on you, but right next to you, is Ku. So Ku, you can see that. Well, I guess you can't see. It's black, so there's no light. I'll tell you this though: you can feel sand starting to gently rain down on you. It's not like a waterfall of sand, a sandfall, but it's like a steady little trickle, like maybe a pepper shaker is over top of you.
Yeah.
You know Pei's body is right here. You can sense it, and hear her too.
Well, I'm not unconscious, so you can probably hear me genuinely not very happy about my situation.
How are you expressing that, Pei?
Probably more like an ow, 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 ow.
That's what you hear, Q. I'll also say that it's much quieter. I mean, you can still hear the wind howling above, but in here, it's definitely much quieter.
Okay. Well, I will scuff my feet until I find Pei and attempt to help her to her feet, partially to get her up and partially to assess how much damage has been done, because if she's fallen and broken bones, she's not going to stand up.
Good point.
So.
Okay, so Pei, you can react to that, respond.
Well, really, she's just really hurt her her elbow, really bad, but her legs are mostly fine.
Okay.
She landed on the small of her back, you know, which is the good place to land.
I guess.
Yeah, ish. There's no good way to land when you fall down a deep hole in the desert.
You hear but do not see the sound of Arbald dropping to the ground beside you. You got a natural 20 on this check, by the way.
Nice. Good old Arbald. Yeah, so I'm torn because I don't know that he made it. So I'm sort of hunkered down next to these camels, and I'm just at this point I don't even know which way the hole is really. I can probably make a pretty good guess at the direction.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that if I follow these camels toward the back, I'll find Albald to be still there. So I'm gonna kind of go hand over hand along these camels. Now again, at this point, my whole head is covered except for a tiny little slit for my eyes. So hopefully my head and face will be protected at least from this. And I'm sort of like, using the camels as a guideline since we have them all tied together now. And I'm trying to get to the back of the caravan to try and find Albald.
Okay, so the way I'm picturing this, the back of the caravan, like you were going to peaten down all 8 camels originally. So you got 2 peaten down because they got 2 peatens in. That's what I did. I said, and then so I thought, okay, so maybe it's camel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 being the closest to the hole, 1 and 2 being the one staked down, just so we're on the same page. Okay,
that's fine. Yeah. So I figured I kind of envisioned to put them in kind of a semicircle near the hole, but however they are, I'm like I said, they're laying down, and I'm just kind of using them as a guide to try and get to the back of the caravan.
Sure. So ideally, you would have been able to do that, but you were really pressed for time, as you recall, when you were tying them. So they're just kind of in a line.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Through feel alone, you're effectively blind. I mean, you can see sand whipping across your face. But you don't take any damage from the whipping sand, but it does sting the little bit of your face that's exposed. Yep. You're also effectively deafened other than the sound of wind.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to crawl really low to the ground because the wind is threatening to even pick you up and toss you.
Yeah, I imagine I'm almost I'm on my knees almost, but I'm kind of like hunkered down, like really low.
So I'm going to have you make me a strength check with advantage for being so low to the ground to see if you're picked up and tossed.
All right, let's see what we got. Smashing 9 and a 9 and a 16. So is it athletics or just strength?
This is strength here, right?
Not athletics. Okay, so 18.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's you succeed, but you have to work at it. It's like
so all the time I'm doing this, I'm screaming, "Oh, bold! Oh, bold!" as I'm pulling myself along.
Your best guess is that as you scream, your words are just carried away on the wind.
I know. Not necessarily rational thinking at this point, but
it's great. It's a great visual. So I'm going to cut to Vicus for a second. So you're at the edge of this hole. You're prone now, being knocked to the ground by this wind.
Yeah, I'm on my hands and knees, and can barely, get up to my hands and knees because I can feel like the wind almost wanting to like grab me by the chest and lift me up. So I'm kind of like face down in the sand, and I'm trying to look up to see if I can see Kalen anywhere. And I start yelling out for Kalen because I'm hoping he went down into the pit because I don't know whether he went down there or not. So I'm yelling out for him. I'm like, Kalen, and then I like duck my head back down to keep from getting stung by the sand. And
The sound of
yell
your
out
own
for him.
voice is drowned. I mean, you can hear it, but it's drowned out by the much more loud sound of the wind and sand. Just, and you can feel your face stinging. So at this point, as per the desert cinematic environments, they're going to have you roll me a d6. You need to not roll a 1.
Okay. Okay. So D6. I rolled a 5.
Okay, so you can feel the wind threatening to pull at you, and every now and then you got to go from hands and knees to like flat on your belly just to not be picked up by the wind.
Right.
The only real thing you're aware of is just to your left hand is the hole. Other than that, it's and your world is just a world of sand and sound.
All right. In my mind, I'm thinking, do I leave from the edge of the pit, or do I drop down, or do I go searching for him, or do I hope he's okay? So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do yet. And so I'm hoping that the rope is still there, and I'm gonna just put my fingers around the edge of the pit and hope that he made it down there. But I'm not going down yet.
Okay, so you crawl around to like where the ropes and the pitons are. You can feel the storm's intensity increasing.
Can't see it. I'm just doing it by feel. Like I'm just, muscle memory. Like just okay, it was here. The rope was over here. The edge of the pit is here, and I'm just holding on.
Okay. At the bottom, we're going to jump back into the hole for a minute. So Paya stood up with a very sore, perhaps bleeding elbow. Ku and Arbold are beside her. You can't see anything at this point other than maybe you can barely make out a bit of light overhead from where you came down. You can tell that the ground you're on is a rocky, flat-ish, rocky ground, and the elbow, the sort of bend it's taking, the slope is now about 30 degrees. Overhead, you can still faintly hear the.
Nobody's lit a torch yet, right?
No.
Well, I'm gonna try to find. I actually have a lantern.
Was that on your person, or was that on a camel?
On my list, it's listed as on my person, and one of my vials of oil is on my person too.
All right, fair enough.
Well, that'll be a good deal then.
Okay, so you break out a lantern. You're a little surprised it didn't break in the fall. You think, this was worth the extra few coins I spent on it.
Well, what was worth the extra coins is this backpack that didn't break.
Might have broken your fall a bit.
But I'm gonna try and get the lantern to work. I don't know how easy it is to do in the darkness.
Well, I would imagine a lot of the times when you're lighting a lantern, it's to fight off darkness. So.
In a world without electricity, it's probably no different than us would be. Everyone knows when you go into a room, you reach to the wall for a light switch. It's probably like that sort of level of instinctual.
All right, well, then I'm gonna light my lantern.
So, what would you light it with? So I'm just asking more to curiosity, like a flint and tinder, or
flint and steel, yeah.
Prestidigitation because you're magic.
Oh, well, there you go. That too.
Okay. I didn't know that could actually produce a flame, but anyway.
Yeah, you can light candles and stuff with it. Yeah.
See, I thought it could make candles like flare up if they're already lit. But anyway, I'm not going to argue with it.
Yeah.
So you create a little light, and it's flickering a little bit from the overhead wind. And you know that if you were up near the top of the hole, it would be impossible because it would just immediately go out. But down here, it's only a bit of breeze.
It's
and
actually
so,
also
you get
it's a bullseye lantern too.
I'm just saying the moving the light to the lantern, right? Is you actually have to have a flame attached to the lantern. That's all I'm saying. So just that, I'm just saying if you were at the surface, it would be an issue. It's not here. You light the lantern, and you can see this rocky tunnel about 10 feet in diameter that comes down and bends to like a 30-degree slope. and it goes beyond the end of the light. Ku and Arbold are there as well.
Is Vicus down here? No, Vicus is still up there.
Nope.
I'm gonna hand the lantern to Arbold and have Ku look at my elbow.
Check it out.
More like, should I be worried about this? Is it broken? Should I start crying? Based on his reaction to this, will determine whether or not Pei starts crying.
Stunned silence. I've never seen an injury that bad.
You're right.
How do I tell him he's about to die?
Yeah. My diagnosis, you should start panning now.
Sorry, I was
Okay.
trying not to be sick. It does not look as bad as I feared. But you will still require some healing. And then I'm going to glance back up to the top of the hole.
Okay.
But
So you just see this like,
yeah, I fear you are in a much better condition than they are. I mean, I'm not willing to climb back up there to go look for them, because that would just result in, my face being sandblasted.
right.
But I am content to stand at the bottom of the rope and stare up the hole until I see one of them.
Yes. And then I'll give up after time. There'll be a brief period where I'm depressed. Sorry.
Now the depression's over.
I will mourn them until I see something shiny.
Okay, so Kaylin, you are crawling across
Yeah.
this ground as the storm intensifies. As you pass near each camel, you can hear it screaming in terror. Even the camels are struggling to be not be picked up by the wind, and if it wasn't for the camels, there's a good chance you would be too. They're kind of blocking your way as you belly crawl
So
along towards this hole.
So this isn't even close to a normal sandstorm then.
This is it's insanely
is,
intense.
Category
It's
5.
not like you've been in a
Alright,
lot of sandstorms before to compare
pretty much.
to. So what I
No,
want to say
no.
is, when you get to the sixth camel,
Yep.
I want you to roll me a d6.
Okay.
Just a straight up
good old-
d6.
1.
Okay, so there is no sixth or seventh or eighth camel. They end at 5.
Okay.
So now you just see the last camel. You can see a broken rope just in the wind and overhead. You want to continue to crawl in the direction of the hole, or?
No. I'm going to start securing the remaining camels.
Okay. I'm going to have you roll me a d6 yourself then.
Okay.
If you won, you're picked up.
6.
Okay, so you're going to be working on feel right now,
Yeah.
right? And your face is stinging and being stung.
Okay.
Vicus.
I'm just going on faith. I hope he heard me. He might be in a hole. I don't know. I'm gonna go down, grab the rope, and just go down the hole like head first, basically. Like I'm grabbing the rope, and my feet are gonna, body weight's gonna, flip me around. But
Gotcha.
I just basically grab the rope and go down into the hole head first.
Gotcha. So I'm going to have you make me an athletics check, please.
Athletics check. All right.
Mhm.
And 13.
Okay, so everyone except Kaylin can hear Vicus climbing down the rope. gets to the bottom. In fact, you can also see light below you, Vicus, as you're climbing down. It gets
cool.
noticeably quieter as you descend.
Wow. All right, I descend to the bottom, let my eyes adjust, and take a look around to see what the if I see the others and where they're at. I'm assuming they created the light.
Yeah, you can see them right there.
Oh, okay. I shake sand from my body, and I look around for Kalen and do like a head count. Like, okay, where's he at? Okay, you know, and
He meant that.
kind of like, where's Kalen? Giant question mark.
Shrug. I thought he was with you.
No. He went to check on our mounts. I thought he made it back.
I mean, it actually has not been that long. He might still be fine. Maybe he's making it back right now.
I kind of look up towards the exit of the hole and like, I hope so. And just let go of the rope and kind of stand there looking up, waiting for him to come down.
Okay, and you as well can see a tunnel descending at about a 30-degree slope in the darkness. So, Kalen, back on the surface. How are you going to do this in the sandstorm? I'm curious.
Well, basically,
So
I'm going to be
keep
on.
in mind that the first 5 are tied together.
Yeah.
It's the first 2 are pitoned to the ground.
All right. Well, I'm going to attach a rope to the end of the last one, and
Yeah, there's a bit of rope already on it that's snapped that you can attach to.
Yep, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to kind of just loop the rest of the rope like around my waist a bit and hang on to that.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and drive another piton like at the back of the group, basically into the stone. So I'm kind of be down on my hands and knees, just trying to drive this another piton in, so I can anchor the back end of this one at least.
Okay, so I'm open for some flexibility here on how to rule this. I think this is something that if it was in normal circumstances, you just succeed automatically. Under this, I think it's something that you can probably do eventually. Like you can, success would probably be guaranteed eventually, but it's gonna be definitely difficult to do in the storm. So I'm gonna have you make me rolls until you succeed, and you're going to start taking light damage from the sand, from exposure to sand, as the storm bears down on you. So the first round, you're going to take 1d4. So I got a 3. You take 3 points of slashing damage, piercing damage from the sand.
All right, hang on. Yeah. Could be bludgeoning. Our games can mean a bunch of ones, but force damages, whatever. Damage, I can't. I'm not resistant to anything particularly, unless that stone skin gives me
bludgeoning. Bludgeoning.
It
gives you the bludgeoning one. Remember?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
You got all those. I gave you all those.
Yep.
Last.
Yeah. I forgot around there. All right. So I'll roll. You want me to roll for the piton? What am I adding to that?
Yeah. So I think athletics, right? I mean, you're doing a strength kind of
so 11 plus 4, 15.
All right. So you get a rope tied around the camel, and now you start dragging this piton in. I'm going to have you roll a d6 again, to see if the wind picks you up. This is, again, as per the rules in the Cinematic Environs.
Yep. 3. Extremely heavy.
Okay. So it's a struggle for you. Like, there's times when you have to stop what you're doing and, like, go right flat on your belly. You think that the additional weight that you've picked up since the temple might be helping.
Sweet. But even so, like I said, I'm holding onto that rope that I have tied to the last camel, and I'm kind of like giving an extra loop around my forearm as I'm holding with my left arm, and I'm hammering with my right. Now the piton is sort of set, I'm trying to hammer it in the rest of the way.
you're doing this by feel for all intents and purposes now.
Yeah.
You can't even see it. You take another point of damage from the sand just
Okay. Yep.
whipping at your face. And if more of you are exposed, you'd be taking more.
Right.
You also realize you're starting to be somewhat buried in sand.
Yeah. I kind of figured. Yep. So I'm every now and then I'll kind of shake my arm off and get some of the sand off it. Take another wham hit with this thing. Do I need to roll any more for this piton, or is it in now, or you just gonna let me know?
One more. I'm gonna give you
Okay.
a roll for the tie and then a roll for the piton. So it's another athletics check.
That one's only 11.
All right, so you're gonna take another 2 points of damage
Okay.
from this sand beating down on you, and I'm gonna have you roll me a d6 again.
Okay. 5 this time.
All right, so again, you feel the wind trying to tear you from the ground. You can't even really tell what's going on with the camels. Even the camel that's 5 feet away from you is invisible to you for all intents and purposes. And you're deafened as well. You don't even hear the sounds of the tink tink because it's just.
Yep. Yeah, I figure it's pretty numb at this point. Oh, nice. I got a 15, 19 on that hit.
Okay, so you succeed and you take another point of damage. And I'm going to have you roll me a d6 again. The wind keeps ripping, tearing at you, and being under 2,000 pounds as to the rules in the book.
Yeah, I'm kind of growling to myself as I'm trying to withstand this. 3.
Okay, anything but a 1, you're good.
All right. So and I'm taking this rope and I'm kind of looping it through and around the piton, and doing a quick knot so that it's secured. So now, just to kind of give you the idea, there's 2 pitons in the front of this little shorter caravan, 1 in the back, and I'm tied to not only the rear camel but also looped around this piton now. So
okay,
I'm
not even going to have you roll for that one.
Okay.
For what you just did, but you take 5 points of damage this time from the sand, and you can feel little cuts and stings, like little tiny, all over your face. It's stinging. Your eyes are really hurting.
The additional hit points have helped. So I'm realizing there's not much else I can do. I'm going to attempt to make my way towards the hole now, but I'm not going to let go of this. I'm kind of letting out slack as I move toward the hole.
Right. This is a backup in case the wind picks you up. I get it. So
or to find a way back to them.
Right. So I'm going to hit you with the sand one more time for 4 points of damage this time, and have you make me roll one more 1d6 before you get to the hole to see if the wind picks you up.
1.
Okay, so I'll tell you, your precautions will really help you here, because right out of the book, it says if a character picked up by the throw of the wind, death is nearly certain. Okay, because you'd land a really huge distance. But I'm going to say right now, you're like a kite. Okay, so you're like. The sand is buffering at you. You take another 3 points of damage as the sand continues to pound away at you, and you're hanging on for dear life onto the end of this thing. Fortunately, it's a really solid grip, so it's not like it can even really slip out of your hand. But you're certainly thinking pounding. What do you want to do about it?
One thing I don't know is in relation, like, did this push me away from the hole, close to the hole, as far as I know, or I have no idea?
Well, you were almost at the hole. It had to pick you up and push you a little ways away.
Right. No, I know that. I'm just trying to figure out. I wouldn't know, so I'm probably pretty disoriented now.
Well, because of the way the camels were laid out, that you were just about at the hole, just you know what I'm saying. But when the wind picked you up.
So as I'm sort of as I sort of like maybe force my so as I sort of force my way down to the ground and kind of like hit and dig my feet in, I'm kind of like having this flashback to one of my old tutors going over geometry and mathematics, and I'm thinking of the position of the thing. It's like if I just walk at the end of this rope, you know, and just keep it taut and follow it in an arc, it's got to bring me to the hole. So
yeah, well, you were on course, but you know,
right.
the wind picked you up. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
All right.
this is sort of going through my mind as I'm kind of considering it, and I begin to make a you know, a kind of hunched sort of lurch for the hole.
Okay, so I'm going to deal you 1 point of damage this time from the sand, and you're going to have to make me one more d6.
All right.
If you succeed, you'll make it to the hole. This is as close as you were last time.
All
right. So your hand falls upon the pitons with the rope attached to it.
All right. So I'm gonna.
You can't see it, but you can feel it.
I'm gonna grab onto the other rope, the one that's at the hole. I'm gonna tie this one that I have attached to the other piton and the camels, kind of loop it around this piton I found, and secure that. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm going to have you roll a d6 here. If you roll a 1, it doesn't reach.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I get 1.
Okay, so it's a bit short. You're 5 and 6 chance. So it's a bit short.
All right. Well, then I will pull the other rope towards it and kind of like knot it around that rope.
So you can. I get that. So from the second piton, you can pull some slack up, sort of like a loop it around. Yeah, fair enough. So all right. So I'm gonna let you do that.
So down below, they probably see the rope like jerking a little bit and moving around.
That's right. It goes up a bit. Yeah, you guys down below see the rope move up. You take 6 points of damage this time from the sand while doing that, though.
All right.
Yeah, you can feel like blood like streaking across your face from a 1,000 little cuts.
This is coming from that sea of glass ahead, I think. All right. So I as soon as I get that, I'm gonna kind of loop the rope around my forearm, and I kind of loop my foot around it, and then I'm just gonna like throw myself into the hole and drop. You know, kind of just belay down, just kind of thing. Okay. So he comes almost falling down into the hole by this rope. Gets to the bottom. I don't know. Maybe it jerks, or I don't know if you're just gonna land on your feet. No, I'm just gonna like stop myself with my with my legs, and then just kind of stumble and then fall to the ground.
Okay.
And I land on my back. And you see that around my wrist area where the glove and the clothing meet, there's some blood around the cuff, the cuffs of those. There's some blood around the cuffs of the pants.
All around his eyes is blood.
Around the eyes, yeah.
Face.
So the cloth is has some blood staining it, and my hands are raw. Even my gloves, you see some holes in the gloves from just even where the rope cut, and this, the palms of my hands are bleeding slightly as I'm laying there.
I rush over to Kalen and like, Kalen, are you okay? And rush over to him and kind of like I'm afraid to touch him because I can see he's like bleeding from like all over kind of, but and I
is everyone in?
Call the other guys over.
And he doesn't answer me, so I reach up and I grab him with my bloody hand and say, "Is everyone in?"
Yes, I was waiting for you.
So, just to paint the picture, you guys are almost standing next to each other at this point. It's only 10 feet wide, right? And you're in the elbow, so it's not like it's a big area you're in. Now, I mean, there's definitely space to stand because the tunnel keeps going down, but it's a room where you got to cross it to get to the guy. You're all right there.
Right. Yeah. Well, I can't see. I can't see much anyway yet. My eyes haven't adjusted.
Yeah, you got blood in your eyes.
Yeah. Just give me a minute.
Arbold starts wiping with a cloth. He's like wiping the blood from around your eyes and stuff like that, so you can see better.
I kind of put my hand on him.
I look, offers you a canteen.
I shake my head and just give me a minute. And I look up at him and kind of look him over to make sure he's okay. And I give him a gentle sort of pat on the shoulder. Good.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
And so I'm just gonna like put my back up against one of the cool walls and just keep breathing and kind of slowly take off the clava and with my hands still shaking. And
Okay.
as soon as I get my gloves and all that stuff off and I'm kind of sitting there, you can see the blood and so forth, I'm going to take a breath and I reach into my little pouch on my side and I take out some a little bundle of herbs and I begin to move them around.
Just I just want to say before you stay there too long.
Sure.
While you guys are staying below this hole, you're being rained on by sand constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you move a little bit up the tunnel, it'll block it. But rain is continuing to fall on you, like more and more now. Like it's like you're in a rain shower almost, or sand shower almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pay would have moved.
Yeah, you can easily just move.
Yeah.
Away from it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll move a little bit that direction. Not too far, but because we don't know what's down there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. And so we'll. And what essentially I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay. Let's say you guys maybe have a short rest here. Might not be a bad plan.
Well, actually, yeah, if we're going to do that too. Maybe I'll do the spell. I mean, it's a second level, just so you know. Because
sure. So you cast a healing spell upon yourself. Sure. What are the rest of you?
I was down to 4 hit points.
I was rolling D4s and then D6s and then D8s as you kept staying. I was giving you the option: is he staying up there? Or is he?
Oh no.
I felt bad about the camels. It was only 1 and 6. I was going to make you roll for camels 6, 7, and 8, and you rolled a 1 right on 6. I was like, oh no. Okay, so you cast a healing spell upon yourself. Is anyone else doing anything while you wait in this tunnel?
No, I'm watching Kalen to make sure he's okay. And once he seems to have regained a bit of composure and isn't bleeding, you should not have stayed so long. And then I clasp him on the shoulder. But at least I am sure you saved all the camels.
As many as I could. We may not have them all, but we have some, and that's better than none.
I arch a fuzzy eyebrow at you. Is that some sort of desert proverb?
If not, it is now. Because we're in the desert, and it's a proverb. All right.
It is fortuitous that we decided to come this direction. If we were caught in the open, I fear we would have died.
Well, I don't want to say I told you so, but you should
Then
always listen to random whims. Random whims save lives.
I gently poke her elbow.
Ow!
Yes. Always listen to random whims.
Not dwarf random whims, because dwarf random whims are stupid.
I kind of chuckle to myself.
Dwarf random whims are stupid.
That's what everybody in my school thinks.
It's exactly like that. Exactly like you just said. It's exactly how she says it. She's very childish right now.
All right.
Are you guys taking a short rest then?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of have to. So yeah, definitely take a short rest.
Asking. So,
Bards,
feel free to do all the things you normally do during short rest. I don't really need to know the math. I trust you guys.
Bards sing at you to heal extra, right?
They can.
Yeah. And as soon as I do the magic on myself, I will I'll sort of sit there and I'll begin to sing just this it's kind of almost a melancholy little song, just of wonders and being lost, and very very sort of appropriate to the situation. and I'm sort of singing that gently as I put on some salve and clean up some of the blood and in a mechanic sense gain some hit points.
So, doing a quick look around, who actually has equipment on them? Because I know personally, I have a sword. That is it.
I actually have a list of what equipment is on me and what equipment is on the.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, me too. I have some on me.
I just,
Um,
I mean, I get that you guys have. I find it hard to believe
Yep.
that anyone has been traveling the desert with a backpack on. In like, I mean,
No.
it's cool if you did. I just like that's why
No.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
No,
my
no,
backpack is marked on my person also,
Yeah.
but there's no way.
Yeah.
No. I've definitely not been doing that, but I do have like my spyglass. I have my my tinder box, some small stuff. I don't most of my big stuff like the bedroll and cooking gear and all that mess kit and all that fun stuff is definitely on the camels.
As far as like I don't know, I guess Ku's probably looking at this from more of a defensive look. Like, yeah, he's taking a quick look. Like, I mean, I have a water skin on me, right? Because that would be something you'd have on your person.
Sure.
But so the first thing I do is I'm looking. All right, water skin. Does anyone not have an obvious water skin on them?
No, I have mine.
Arbald has one. He would have one too.
Yeah, I would think we would all have like a
All right.
water skin on us.
And then
I'm
like
okay
I
with
know
that.
I have no
Yeah.
armor on whatsoever. Does anyone look like they are better equipped than I am?
I do not have my armor on. No.
My armor's made out of.
I'm with Ku. It's water skin, a blade, and that's pretty much it. And
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to be going
So-
through a hot desert
No,
wearing
no.
armor.
So I kind of I look around at everybody, and this is not good.
No, it is not good.
How
Unfortunately,
long?
it's not.
I point up, and how long will this last?
I just wanted to describe that beside you on the ground, you can see a pile of sand now that's about 2 or 3 feet. And up above, it's got a light sort of plug of sand over the hole now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I say. Well, I've never been in them myself, but my mentor said these can last for several hours or several days.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know in reality they can last days.
Yeah, exactly. So
So there's a plug over the hole now, Rob. So is it fair to say
It's just a
almost
thin-
become right?
A
So-
thin plug.
I would assume at this point it's almost getting deafeningly quiet in here then, because we've all been used to that, and now
That's right.
it's going
You just hear
away.
the sounds of your own voices, and even the rock
kinda-
here doesn't echo much.
Well, I
All
kind of
the sand
imagine
is
not.
Dead.
I was gonna say I kind of imagine not so much as a plug, but more like an hourglass. Like it's full of sand, but there's like this constant like funnel of just sand running
trickle
down,
down,
like an hourglass kind of thing.
Yeah, but a huge gap in between, right? Like that's 30 feet up. I don't want to give you the impression the whole tunnel's full. Nothing like that. It's
Right.
just
No,
kind
I know.
of plug at the top of the pile. of
So
plug.
you're
Yeah.
saying this isn't a pulp fiendish death trap, right? The villain did not capture us and put us in an
today.
hourglass.
Not
right?
today.
Oh yeah.
I'll
If I'd
get
have thought
you,
of it.
gadget.
Well, we have nothing much else to do, so let's. Why don't we see our situation?
Well, Pei is going to touch the wall and pull some of the shadows out from the earlier and engulf herself in shadow armor again.
Nice.
All right. All right. So from the flickering of this torch, you can see shadows at the fringes of its light kind of move in an unnatural manner for a bit, and now Pei seems to be. What does it look like, Pei?
It basically just looks like kind of opaque glass.
Okay.
Nice.
It's barely translucent, but it's just enough that you can kind of see it. Like the light hits it, and it's a little bit of blackish glass.
Okay. So this tunnel is obviously you're out of the sun. It's warm, but it's not as bad warm as it was before all this shit started.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it
it'll
be
pretty dry in here.
And with that plug, it should stay pretty warm all night, which is about the only plus we have in this situation.
The tunnel's smooth, but not like not like pipe smooth.
Well, Pei, might we use your lantern and spelunk this cavity?
I actually gave it to Albold earlier.
Ah.
Oh, I thought you gave it to Koo, but okay.
No, I gave it to Albold and had Koo look at my shoulder, my elbow.
I'm not arguing.
I'm not saying you're arguing. I'm just making it clear.
Clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but you are walking on a slope. I want to distinguish that. It's about 30
feet
down, and this tunnel is not perfectly circular. It's roughly circular.
Right. All right. I'm gonna grab the lantern then, and
sure. Very good, sir.
And I do have my axe. I don't take it out because I'm not expecting any sort of threat. But I say, anyone want to join me?
Well, after that rest, my elbow feels better. So let's go.
Good. Nothing we can do here. So, although I do reach into my little pouch and I take out a piece of chalk, and I kind of make a little X on the wall, and I put it back in my pocket, and I'll using the bullseye feature of the lantern, so they get a little spotlight. I start, spelunking ahead.
Yeah, well, there's really only one way to go anyway.
Yeah.
So you guys head down in order. It's about 10 feet wide. It's enough. I think two of you could walk side by side if you wish, or you can walk single file. Maybe just give me a marching order.
Pei is super eager to stand right up at the front with Kaylin.
Okay. Makes sense. The lights at the front.
I'll have Albold wait behind, I guess.
Okay.
By the hole.
You want me to stay here, sir?
Well, we're just going to explore a bit. We won't go far. If we find anything interesting, I'll come back for you. But unless you'd rather,
insist, sir. I would rather not stay here alone.
Oh, well then, by all means, come along.
Very good, sir.
I just don't want you to. You're already doing well above and beyond what is typically required of a valet, and I don't want you to feel compelled to.
This is true.
Go into this set of danger.
You could always pay me more, sir.
That wasn't him. Kuz's lawyer now. They formed a union.
All right, so
as we're walking, I don't have a. I would say for dwarves, I have an average knowledge of stone and tunnels. Right, I don't spend my entire life there, but I got the dwarven education, right?
Sure.
And something has been sort of gnawing at Koo's mind since we came here. He's not used to the desert, but in the volcano there are these sort of like stone burrowing worms. And
yeah, I've heard such things.
It's concerning to him that there's not rock at the base of this entrance, right? It's not like it doesn't seem like the ceiling caved in so much as it was pushed out and has been blown away over time. It doesn't seem, like necessarily that this hole was formed by something collapsing so much as it seems like it was a little bit excavated. So that's
what I said. It seemed more like a burrow than a.
But when you said that, he kind of wrote it off as fanciful. now that we're walking down it, is it fair to say that Koo's getting a sickening feeling in his gut as he touches the walls that this is oddly, eerily similar on a much larger scale to the burrows of those.
Hmm.
You might be able to tell by the
Like,
texture.
Maybe not that he knows it, but is it fair to say there's enough there to put him on edge?
I'm going to let you make an investigate roll,
All
because
right.
it seems right here you're putting clues together, and depending on how well you roll will determine the amount of information I give you.
Well, I rolled an 18 on the die.
Okay, so excellent. So, first thing you notice is there's no tool marks. This was not excavated by tools.
So I just want to say, for every clue that Rob gives me, what you guys are seeing and hearing is a bunch of
It's not
Yeah,
good.
right.
Oh, no.
The tunnel does appear to be made by, it's similar to a burrow type creature. But in your estimation, from the best you can recall, it's not one of like these worms you heard of it. That's not what this is.
right. Plus, the words I'm thinking of
But
are
it's
probably
similar.
it's like a dwarf's thumb. Like it might even like I don't know. Like in the South, in the States, right? You get like crayfish that will make like these little mud mounds.
Yep.
You can actually fish them out. So I imagine that dwarven boys probably do that with these little lava worms, right? Like you fish them out, and it becomes that very immature thing where, like in my mind, the lava worms do what they do because they have a slightly acidic skin as well as they chew rock, right? So
Right.
as a dwarven kid, you would fish them out, and you would collect them in some sort of container, and you would throw them at people, you know, as sort of a childish antic. So that's like in his mind, that's all he sees. He's standing in this tunnel that's 10 feet tall and going,
Huh. That is
So
big.
I'm sorry.
no, sorry, good.
I'll just say that it's similar to that you've seen before, but you know that those worms also make smoother tunnels. The rock this is more rough.
Sure. So as we're not thinking of the impact, but wanting to relay the information, as we're going down this this tunnel, and we have a torch, and we all know torches shine light out to 30 feet and then 60. But I also imagine that none of us are familiar with this subterranean what's what I'm looking for? Terrain. Subterranean terrain. There's got to be better words than that. Anyway, we're not used to this, and so as the flame sort of flickers, and you get these like weird shadows on this unevenly hewn wall. So maybe at times even the shadows, like we saw them come alive earlier when Paige did her magic, but it seems like maybe there's even these slithering things that run down these ridges in the stone. And so Ku kind of goes into this.
Yeah, where I'm from, in the mountains, there are rock worms that live in stone. Is common misconception that they eat rock, but rather their skin burns rock. They eat flesh. They will burrow underneath nests of birds or rats and eat them from underneath their own homes.
And he kind of reaches over, touches the tunnel wall.
This tunnel reminds me of such a thing. Yeah, I think, Kalen, you are right that we are in some sort of, what was the word you used?
Burrow.
Burrow.
And do you have any thoughts on if it's an old burrow or a more recent one?
I cannot be sure, but the fact that there was a sand at the entrance or exit, I suppose, but not lots of it. Makes me think that at some level this tunnel is still used, because I cannot imagine that this storm is the first one that has ever come. And if the tunnel was not being used, it would surely have filled at least most of the way with sand.
Mhm. Well, that makes sense. Well, I suppose we'll have to see. I don't want to go to sleep if there's something down here.
Just remember that if it is a creature from under the ground, it does not likely find us. What is the word when you are hunting and you see
Edible?
footprints? No, footprints, and you follow the track. It does not likely track us with sight, but either hearing or smell, or perhaps it can even feel us as we walk.
I suppose that's a reasonable point. Well, at this point, I suppose we've already announced ourselves quite loudly by the way we landed down here, so maybe the vibration of the storm above will give us a bit of cover. Even if we can't hear it, it might feel it in some way.
Just be careful, Pei. I do not want you to follow a whim and be eaten.
Sure, it'll be fine. I follow my whims all the time, and I'm still not dead.
Yes.
Yes, surprising.
Maybe I should hold the maps for a while, just in case.
No, these are my maps.
So we'll sort of press on, moving slowly, and I just suggest that everyone move as quietly as possible, just in case. So we'll try and not stomp our way down.
Okay, so as Ku suggested, it is quieter in here, easier to hear. You continue on for a short ways, and you see that it branches. The tunnel continues straight ahead, about a 30-degree slope, and then another tunnel breaks down into the ground, sort of perpendicular down to that, at right angles down to that, if you will, on about a 40-degree angle.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I'm gonna kind of like take a sniff down each one, just gonna see if there's any kind of
Dry,
smell.
dusty.
Okay. And
I'll let you make me a perception check. check.
12.
Okay. I'm going to say no, then,
Okay.
at least for now.
And I'm also going to kind of, I kind of pull up the casing on the lantern so that the flame is just sort of exposed, because that's how you kind of light it. And
Yeah, you got a bullseye lantern, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm just opening up so the flame is exposed to the air more, and I want to just kind of lift up a bit, and I want to look to see if the flame sort of is drawn either direction, because that's going to indicate sort of airflow. So I kind of lift up and see if there's any kind of air current.
I will say no.
Air current will lead to an exit, basically.
I understand what you're going for, and I will say no.
Okay.
At least where you are, I'll say no.
And the air down here does not feel or taste stale yet, right? Because it's been so open up top that we're still in at least good air for right now.
That's correct.
Okay.
I say, I suppose the good news is, and I'm kind of whispering to Ku, I suppose the good news is we don't smell any remains or any excrement yet.
I nod.
Yes, but most subterranean burrowers don't leave remains.
And I kind of smile.
Well, But everybody poops.
So true, and most worms right through their mouths.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we evolved to have more than one orifice.
At least later on. Although when we're first developing, we for at least a short time we're nothing but an asshole. So.
Oh yeah.
So do either of them? Which one looks easier to travel on at this point?
One's a slightly greater incline, but both are certainly walkable.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go over to the wall. Just backtrack just a couple of steps from where we came from, and I'm going to take out my chalk again and make an arrow pointing back in the direction we came. Make it. Yeah,
it's uphill anyway, right? So that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just being overcautious.
Just for descriptive purposes, you got to be careful with your chalk because the surface is rough. That if you press too hard, it'll snap the chalk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm just being descriptive.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm just making it so we can certainly see it. It'll be easier to see at a glance, especially if we're running for our lives.
Yeah.
You want to see it fast, and I guess
we're gonna go left. Left feels right.
So you're going to continue on the tunnel you were headed?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Is this one of your, I kind of look with my eyebrow. Is this one of your impulses?
Yes, and if it wasn't for that, we'd be dead from a sandstorm. I'm going to keep saying my impulses are good until I'm dead. In which case, you can be right.
Okay. So the tunnel gets slightly less slanted, although it's still a downward slope. And it goes on for 100 feet, another 100 feet, another 100 feet. It almost gets to where it's level, but not quite. Still a bit of a down slope. Mm-hmm. And you finally see something other than something that stands out, and that's looks like white stones. You see like 5 roundish white stones. They're not all the same size, although they're similar. The largest might be the size of maybe twice the size of a human skull. Yeah. And then the smallest would probably be about the size of a human skull. But I'm not saying they look like skulls. They're rounder. They're round.
But might one call it egg-shaped?
If sort of like a flattened, kind of like a flattened egg shape.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like an egg shape. If you had an egg without the shell, a hard-boiled egg without the shell, and you kind of push down on it, it's sort of that shape.
I got you.
I said the largest is about twice the size of a human skull, and the smallest is about the size of a human skull.
Right.
And you see these, at the edge of the light, right? The 30 feet or so.
Yeah. How high is the ceiling at this point? Is it still 10 feet?
Yeah. The diameter fluctuates slightly, as you go. It's not utterly consistent, but it's roughly consistent.
Yeah, and as I'm sort of, we kind of slow down and look at these, say, Cood.
The hallway continues beyond them as well.
Yeah. Yep. I say, Cood, do those look familiar to you at all? They look. My first thought was eggs, but
so keep in mind you're seeing this at the fringe of your light.
Right.
It's about 30 feet away, so it's hard to tell much.
Right. But I don't want to get too close without seeing anything. I also kind of pan the light, like, up toward the ceiling or, in the walls, and just kind of search the area for anything else. Cool. Any, just had.
Even with my dwarven abilities to see better, they are too far away.
All right. Well, yeah. Then we'll continue to move up.
Whoa, whoa,
Okay.
whoa! If they're eggs, you don't want to mess with somebody's nest. That seems rude.
We may need food after this, so don't get too sentimental about them. And I'm not, and I am gonna like hike. I'm gonna switch the lantern to my left hand, and I'm gonna hike up my axe into my right.
You say eggs,
Sure.
I say omelet.
Yeah, exactly. No.
So you move closer to them, and you can see that just beyond them, you see three round discs of stone. Looks like stone, gray, very flat, very symmetrical. Not obviously not natural. Lying on the ground just beyond this bits of stone. There's three of them, like that's about the size of dinner plates, maybe from this range.
Huh. Okay.
Small dinner plates, I should say. Sandwich plates, about that big. Yeah.
Okay.
That's more accurate.
Wow. Okay. I'll continue to creep up with pointing the lantern at him, and I definitely like choke up on my
I'm
axe.
picturing
At
the
this
party
point.
like.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, pretty much. You know, the idea this could be a burrow of some kind is forefront in our mind. So we're
Right.
we don't want to become the menu.
So you get. I'm gonna say you get 10 feet away. You
Yep.
can see that the tunnel continues beyond them, and the slope starts to increase again a little bit. Like it got
Down.
almost level here, and then it's starting to
Drop. Okay.
you know, yeah, but again, it's very gentle, easily walkable. Okay, so you're 10 feet away, and they look solid. It looks like,
Okay.
as I said, a bunch of roundish white stones and three flat gray ones.
Okay.
And that's at 10 feet. So
I'm going to kind of very slowly sort of creep up, pointing the light at one of them, and I will. When I get within 5 feet, I'll sort of reach out with the axe and the head of the axe and kind of give it a little, not a hard hit, but I'm just going to try to get a feel for its density. Like is
so,
yeah.
I got you.
I'm not trying to break it.
I'll say the closest one of these round spheres is you hear like a little kink as if sound of like metal off stone.
Okay, so it definitely has a stone sound to it, not a shell.
That's the closest sound, yeah.
Or a fungus. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was going to be some sort of weird mushroomy thing, but
it's definitely solid. There's no give to it.
Okay. All right. But
these three discs, which are lying just beyond it, you can see that there's markings on them.
Now Pei is interested. She's going to go over there and look at them.
Yeah.
Okay, so which two are at the front again?
I'm going to put my hand up. Pei.
I just want the visual, like Pei's pushing past the group.
Well, I was standing right next to Caleb.
Pushing past me, probably.
Yeah.
He was about 5 feet away from these roundish things and 10 feet away from these discs. So if you're pushing ahead, you can certainly push ahead. I just want the visual.
Yeah, the second she sees it, there's she's all over that shit.
Okay, so she goes walking past these round things and over to these grayish discs.
I go to put my hand out and start to say something, and then realizing the futility of it, I just sigh and.
So, what are you doing at these things? You can see that there's markings on them, Pei.
Does it look like some kind of writing, like even archaic writing?
You're gonna like kneel down and pick one up? What's the plan?
I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna kneel down and look at it.
Okay, and the three of you
I'll shine the light.
But
sorry, I was gonna say I'll shine the light over there for her. Yeah.
Right, but for
I like
the brief part.
I like puff squat.
What is it? So you can see that on shining the light on them, you can see that two of them have like the profile head kind of carved into them. It's not like it's like slightly raised. It's not like three-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Like it's flat.
Yeah.
the profile of a head,
So
of a head and face curved in. It looks like the same on both, and on one of them, it looks like a stone building that you don't recognize.
But there's
That's what
just
Pay sees anyway.
there isn't any kind of writing on them at all.
Nope.
Huh. So they almost kind of look like big coins, big stone coins.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the one that is unique, and I'm gonna try and flip it over.
Okay, so on the other side, there is this face and profile.
So they
I'm
are like
going to
coins.
look
You have the
at-
building on
look
one
at-
side, the face on the other.
I'm looking at Kalen and say, I found some money. I don't know what good it's for.
Doesn't seem very practical. So I'll hunker down with her and look at it, and I'm pretty well learned. I'm sort of a scholar of sorts, and so I'm kind of looking at these at the building and the face to see if I can glean any sort of culture from it. Like, in other words, like the building architecture, does it seem familiar, or is the face basically humanoid, or is it more elven, and that kind of
It's
thing?
a human.
So
it's a
I'm looking for those
humanoid.
kind of details.
It's a human-ish face, but the detail isn't great
Okay.
enough that you can make a specific. It doesn't look elven. It doesn't look dwarven.
I gotcha.
You're
What
also
about the style
beside
of the building?
Can I make a history
It's
check?
not.
sorry.
It's an architecture that you do not recognize. I'll say that.
Is it possible to make a history
All
check
right.
to get some insight into this?
I'm gonna say no in this case. There's really no way you could know what this is. I mean, you can make your speculate all you want, but there's no knowledge that you would come across it.
Well,
You've got these sort of roundish stones if you want to look at them.
well, time for wild
Yeah.
speculation. This is the money of the burrowing giants. I'm sure of it.
I my eyebrows, raised slightly, and I trolling on the patient, kind of trolling on the patience. I say, is it?
Well, maybe.
Well, maybe he's good. That's progress of a kind, I suppose.
There's no other possible explanation. Look how big they are. And we're in a cave like this.
Right. But money out of just plain stone doesn't seem particularly practical. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're probably not right.
I have heard stories of money made from paper.
That seems stupid.
It is not about the value of the material, but the wealth of the person making the paper. It is used to the east for transferring large sums of wealth. You think of it
Yes,
like
I mean,
IOU.
Yes, I've used writs of credit and things
Yes,
like that
yes.
in my affairs, but those are meant to make things easier for transactions. A gigantic rock disc, not so much.
The rock isn't gigantic if you're gigantic.
Again, this is.
But
I
I have
suppose
never heard
maybe-
of burrowing giants.
Yeah. So, borrowing giant money aside, I'm going to go take a look at the sphere, at these rocks then, and I'll ask Albo to hold the lantern for me, and I'm going to, with my gloves on, I'm going to try to pick one up.
Okay, it's heavy, but it's not like unnaturally so. Do you want to pick up the largest or the smallest, or one in between?
I'll start with the smallest, I guess, just to
Okay.
You know, thinking on some weird level, small might be safer. For some reason.
I'm totally guesstimating on the weight, but I'll say 3 to 4 pounds, maybe. It is off-white. It's pretty white though. Like it's only maybe slightly off-white.
Yeah.
And it is, vaguely spherical, but it's also slightly tubular. So if you took a sphere and then kind of lengthened it one way and then squished it a bit.
Yeah.
That's
more
kind
of like an ant egg would be.
No, it's not egg-like. The ends are almost like edges.
Oh, really? Okay.
The ends of it. Yeah. What is your intelligence? I can't even tell you what the skill check is because it's a giveaway.
Oh, okay. Intelligence 14.
So I'm rolling for you.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 20. So you think this is?
Damn, I'm rolling good.
This is bone.
Oh. Okay. So is it? Does it look like it was carved into the shape, or is it like a segment of bone? Oh, okay. So it's just like a segment of bone. Yep. Okay.
But it doesn't really appear to be broken off at either end.
Right. So okay. I say, "Cool. Look at this. I think this is bone." And I reach into my little pouch there and I take out this tiny little brush and I begin sort of brushing the surface of it and I take a little magnifying lens and I begin sort of looking at it. Look here. Look at this texture. That's definitely bone. And I try to now I guess now that I know it's kind of bone, I'm going to try and see if I can glean what part of a beast this might be from, like a finger bone, a spine.
Okay. I'll let you make me a medicine check, I guess.
I also have nature, so I don't know which one. Actually, it doesn't matter. They're both the same. So, 17, 21.
Probably a toe.
Great. I don't say that out loud because I don't need to feed Pay's theory about the burrowing giants.
The burrowing giants.
It's okay.
We don't need to fan that fire.
It's okay. Pay will just ask you what it is. You keep staring at the rock. What is it? It's bone. What kind of bone? Is it carved? What's the bone? Tell me about this bone.
I say, it doesn't seem carved. Study of beasts is not natural philosophy is not my specialty, though. It could be some sort of digit. And actually, I kind of take the others and I see if I can assemble them. You know?
Yeah, they're kind of laying in order, like largest to smallest.
Okay.
And you picked up the smallest one, as I recall.
Yeah. So I kind of line them up, and I'm somewhat alarmed by the size of this toe. Can I tell, like, vaguely if it's maybe like mammal, reptilian, anything like that? Like, trying to glean a bit more.
The end of a humanoid toe, but obviously a big one.
Okay, I knowledge is more important than my pride, so I take a breath. It looks like the bones from a giant toe, and I hate myself even as I say it.
Okay, if I were to scale this toe up into a creature, how tall would it be?
I don't know. My inspiration just left. But if they're the size, my guess is if these were the size of like skulls and such, like that on par of that size, and there's a bunch of these, this thing has to be maybe 20, 30 feet tall.
So too tall to even fit in the thing we're in.
Unless I suppose it could crawl through, like a crawl space. I say something slightly more alarming would be if something ate the thing that these bones came from that lives in here.
Okay, he's back. Hey, if we were to extend these toe bones into the height of a creature, how tall would this creature be if I were to guesstimate?
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm going to let you make your own guess, right? If the biggest toe is a little bit bigger than a human skull, and the smallest toe is a little bit smaller than a human skull, go from there.
Okay. So yeah. So
And how tall is the place we're in? The ceiling is how high?
10, it's about 10 feet.
Sorry, it's about 10 feet.
Yeah. I see.
Maybe we're standing in a footprint.
Do we see a giant footprint? Well, I wouldn't necessarily have a footprint on a rock.
No,
Do you see a giant?
the whole foot wouldn't even. I mean, just extrapolating, the whole foot wouldn't even be the width of this tunnel. Like, it would be shorter than that.
Okay.
Oh, you say that, Dungeon Master, but you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
Well,
Is there?
I mean, so average human skulls like 20-ish inches, average toes too, so 10 times. So you're looking at something that's 50 to 60 feet tall.
Yeah.
Perhaps I over-described it then. It's less than that.
All right. Yeah. So maybe
I was approximating toe size. So
maybe
something
20
that
feet.
doesn't exist in the real world.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
all right, so yeah, 20-ish feet.
I'm gonna stick with my 20-ish estimate. If it's under that, we'll feel better about ourselves.
I have concluded that they're then not eggs, and it's okay if we eat them. Also, I don't think we can eat them.
I'm pretty sure we can't eat them.
But we can keep going, and I'm taking one of these monies. I'm going to pick up a disc and carry it.
Okay. So it weighs probably 4 or 5 pounds.
I'm going to hold it against my chest with both arms because 4 or 5 pounds is kind of heavy.
Okay.
Pay's rich now.
Yeah. I kind of look at them sort of longingly, thinking about how these would go wonderful in the museum of the natural history wing of the museum that was being built.
Well, if you guys were smart, we could use these to bribe the giants that we run into.
Or distract the thing that eats the giants. Because nothing about this sounds good at all.
Yeah. No,
Look how big
good.
those giants must have been. Nothing can eat things that big. That's impossible.
Well,
If you say so.
if the bones are down here and not exposed to the sand and wind, but are picked clean, it is possible that it is a carrion eating creature rather than one that eats something alive. Most things that hunt do not clean the bones all the way.
Well, it can't be that either because there'd be more than just toe bones.
Not necessarily. If you hunt deer and eat it, do you leave all the bones on your plate or only the ones that you ate that meal?
Even if you were to just eat the foot, there'd be more bones in this.
So something ate a giant foot here, or at
He's
least part of a
suggesting,
giant
what if it
foot.
was just a meal of a foot, though?
Yeah, even if it was a meal of just a foot, there would be more bones.
Yeah.
Just toe bones.
Well, look, we can speculate more, or we can go further and see what else is down here.
Speculation does not get us eaten by a giant worm.
That's true. I think.
Well, it might if the
Alright.
giant worm comes this way, if it exists. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I'll take the lantern back from Elbow, and I'll take the lead again and begin heading further. Every now and then I'll make a little small chalk mark X on the wall with an arrow pointing back.
So the tunnel continues on for quite a ways on this gently downward slope. It goes at least as far as you've already come. Always sloping downwards. Finally, you see some change. The tunnel again continues, but you see another tunnel that goes up, but it's sort of in the ceiling from where you are.
Oh.
Okay? I'm going to show you a bit of a picture.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Do we see a way to get up there?
Like what, a ladder? No.
No, I mean, like, is there like does it gently arch over there, or is it just there's just a hole in the ceiling that goes up?
It's like a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah. But it does look like it levels off, at least if this drawing is accurate. So we could
It's approximate.
yeah. So we could hike someone up there, lift someone up because it's only 10 feet. Someone could shimmy up there and take a little walk down to take a look. If it leads up, it could lead to back to the surface somewhere further on.
All right, I'll go.
All right. I'll put down the lantern and give her a leg up.
Okay. I'm not even gonna make a roll for that. So you boost her and you can get like your arms kind of in the hole and like pull yourself up into it if you want.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Do we have another torch? If you guys want to keep the lantern, because I don't think you want me to take the lantern and leave you guys in darkness.
Probably not.
Separating the party.
Splitting the party. That's right. That's what we do, buddy.
Well, if we bring Koo up here, Koo knows how to put pittons in the ground, and I have more pittons.
Well, the climb isn't the. Oh, I suppose just to make the gap. You're saying. I get you.
Yeah, just so everyone get up.
Yeah.
Or you could explore first. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Or you could just say screw it.
Yeah, just go.
All right.
Well, can you send your owl?
I could, but that would be. How's my owl supposed to carry a torch far enough so that it can see?
Well, no. Well, it should be able to see pretty good.
It's gonna get dark down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't see in total darkness.
Mm.
They can see for a while, though. I mean, at least until they ran out of
Yeah.
Well,
60 feet.
This owl's gonna chill on my shoulder, and I'm just gonna walk that way with a torch.
Okay, so I'm assuming you have a torch marked down. You can check that off.
Yeah,
I don't actually have any torches in my inventory. Someone's gotta throw me one.
Oh,
Does
okay.
anybody have a torch?
That's a good
None
question. I don't think so. Somebody got on me. I have. Checking. I got nothing.
I brought a lantern and 2 things of oil. I kind of was planning on using that for myself.
All right.
And if you guys have torches?
No. Why would we need torches in the middle of a bright sunny desert?
On your person, especially.
We have some on the beasts, but we can't go back for those right now. So no, we weren't planning on spelunking. But I said, all right. I'll hand her up the lantern. So we'll wait here. Don't go too far. Go 5 minutes down, see what you see, and then come back.
Well, on the other hand, does anyone have a light cantrip?
Nope.
Well, all right. I will be back then. I'm going to go explore.
Okay, so this puddle of light, you guys remain in darkness. This puddle of light moves up and away from you. It goes up and up for a ways. You walk for about 3 minutes, like up and up and up. But it's barely a slope. It's like more ahead than up. But walking, and then you come to, it seems to be filled in, not with rock, but with hard packed dirt.
And it just ends with hard packed dirt?
Yeah, as if it's like filled in kind of thing, or blocked or packed up. But it's not rock. It's like dirt.
Well, I am going to stare at it for a minute, get a really good mental picture of what it is, so I can go back and describe it.
Okay, it's dirt.
All right, so I'm gonna get.
It's
So I'm gonna get down, and I'm going to.
Okay, so you see the light come back. Yeah,
okay.
I lean
Yeah,
on
but-
the edge, and I lower the lantern for someone
fine.
to grab.
Yep, fine.
Yeah.
And I
You
get
get
down,
down.
and I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So it goes up, and then there's a tunnel, right? And it's going, and then it doesn't go anymore because there's a bunch of dirt.
All right.
But like it's dirt that somebody put there on purpose.
Well,
I don't know why the burrowing giants would need to put dirt there, but I guess it's to keep out the rain. The end of this tunnel must end in a swamp.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, why else
No,
would they pack dirt there?
no. That's not how deserts work.
I thought that you made maps and understood geography.
Well, how far have we been down here? Feels like forever.
I look back, a couple 100 feet.
Really? Oh.
We'll be down here for days. It's been like 10 minutes. Oh.
Well, it's hard to tell where I am when I can't see the sky.
Actually, it's probably. We've been walking maybe half an hour.
more like a half a mile.
No, I mean, time wise.
Hey, I'm not
Well,
wrong.
half a
Half a
mile.
mile is still several
Okay.
hundred feet.
Okay.
It's just
more
No
several.
argument. No argument.
All right. So, yeah.
Okay,
So,
well, there's dirt
I'm
to keep
only
something
42
out.
and some months.
Right.
all right. Yeah. So, I guess we'll.
This is
press
only
on
my
down.
third beer.
Okay, so as it turns out, there's probably not a swamp, but there's packed dirt there to keep something out.
That's fine. Good to know.
It is not uncommon for burrowing creatures to do something like that.
All right, well, we'll just go down this
Alleged.
way then.
Alleged burrowing creatures. So,
Well, something
yeah,
definitely burrowed here.
we'll continue
Probably
on
the
down
giants.
Don't encourage him. So,
Something old, something new, something burrowed, something blue.
aha. So, all right. So yeah. So we'll continue on down the slightly steeper slope, and I mean, as long as we're not in danger of slipping and falling.
No, the ground is rough enough and it's dry.
Yeah.
Like there's really. I mean, it's like when you're walking down a hill, right? I mean, you can feel
Right.
it in your legs after a little while, but it's not like the hill isn't so steep you're in danger of like falling forward or anything like that.
Well, I mean, at this point in our journey, we still had a few hours of traveling anyway. So as long as we don't travel more than a few hours down here, we should be. We shouldn't exhaust ourselves more than we would have.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I didn't mean to imply that. I just meant you
Yeah, no,
noticed
no.
the difference between walking downhill versus flat
Yeah.
ground, right? That kind of
No problem.
So eventually, you see it kind of levels out, and you go for another like good 10 minutes before this happens, and it looks like an opening that goes into possibly a large cavern. I mean, your light only goes so far.
Oh.
But-
Right.
When you come to the you come to sort of like
something.
the end of the tunnel, which is open. I'm not going to
Mhm.
assume you do that. I'm being assuming. I'll stop.
Yeah. That's right.
So you see this at the
it
end of
seems
your
to
light.
open ahead. Yeah. It seems to open ahead. And I'll continue to move forward. Again, being a little more cautious. I'll, kind of again keeping an eye on the ceiling, and get up to this opening and peer through, shine the light in.
Yeah, the ceiling is only 10 feet, so it's not like the ceiling's way above you.
Yeah.
If something was to drop down, it'd be awful small. But anyway, the tunnel ends, and you see you're in a cavern. Now, this cavern is roughly cubicle shape, okay? And you guys are on the west wall of this cube. But where the tunnel comes out, it's about 50 feet above the floor of this cavern, which is about 70 feet tall. There's no light beyond your lantern, so you can't see the far side or the bottom. So I guess you only know that you're at least 30 feet above the bottom.
Now, is it only roughly the square, or is it this card?
It's rough. No, I'm just trying to give you a vague shape of it. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
All right.
It
So
looks natural.
Natural cavern. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of put my finger up to have everyone just be quiet for a moment, and I kind of turn my head and cup my hand to my ear, and I'm going to listen for any sounds. Particularly, I'm listening for some kind of breathing or growling, obviously. But apart from that, just I'm listening for the sound of water, like dripping or anything like that. And obviously smelling, if we smell any water or.
Yeah. Okay. Make me a perception check.
Okay. I should remember this by now. 20.
I'll say you get a vague smell of water. It kind of reminds you of the smell of ocean water.
Oh, so it's a little bit salty.
I have a question. Does dark vision mean you can see in absolute darkness?
No, not by my rules.
Yeah.
Okay. Also,
low light. Dark vision is low light vision.
Yeah.
Also, owls have dark vision 120 feet. Can it see the bottom of this place?
No. It's low. It's low light. But I'll tell you, I've already told you it's 50 feet. So.
Yeah.
It's
well, I know, but that's meta knowledge until somebody knows that.
Yes. So no.
Okay.
What you could see in low light. Just change it to low light, and you got it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, unless we want to climb down there, this seems like a dead end.
Well, do you smell water?
Maybe. I don't hear any though. It could be a mile on for all we know.
Or there could be a lake underneath us.
Well, there's an easy way to find that out. I say, hand me the coin.
No, it's mine. Throw your own coin.
Fine. So I'll reach into my pouch and fish out just a simple copper piece from my change pouch, and I'll walk on the edge and give it a good flick way out into the darkness.
So you're like tossing it beyond like your light, like you're not like just dropping it straight down, right?
Yeah. I'm not like trying to shoot it 30 feet out. Just give it, flip it so it goes out. It's not going to hit the wall on the way down, basically.
Okay, so it goes out beyond your light, and then bink, bink, bink.
Okay, no splash though. Well, no splash, no big splash below. So if there's water down there, it's not a lake.
Or maybe right below us is the shore. Throw something.
I just did.
No, throw it. You just a little flick it. Throw. Actually, you know what? Let's get Vicus to throw because he looks stronger. Vicus, throw something for us.
Throw something. Show us.
I look around for something loose.
There's nothing loose here.
There's no rocks.
You can go back for one of those toes if you wanted.
I
I believe you left 2 coins behind there too.
I'm not going to go all the way back for that. Kalen, I hold my hand out.
Oh. Okay.
Our roll's not tied to anything.
That's right.
That's mean.
That's right. I say fine. And I'm actually going to use prestidigitation to make I can make a non-magical trinket that will last until the end of my next turn. So I basically just make this glass globe in my hand, about the size of an orange. See,
okay.
Here,
Oh, okay, a big one. Okay,
yeah,
you get a big marble.
It says it can fit in my hand, so it's just an apple size thing. Well, say chuck that.
Okay. I grab it in both hands, hold it up to my ear, and I do a shot put and see as far as it can go.
Okay, so you hear it. I mean, it goes beyond your light, the 30 feet, and
Yeah,
you hear it
yeah.
hit a wall, or at least it sounds like a wall beyond the other side. Boom, 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 and then falls down below.
I am
Okay.
convinced there is not a lake.
Well, then our job here is done.
Well, I still
we
wonder
can-
what's down there.
I'm sure there's more caves and caverns, but I don't think we need to worry about any threat from this direction. We could go back to that other passage we bypassed and check that. I'd feel better sleeping at night if we check that one out to make sure there's nothing going to assail us in the night.
All right, well, we can go back then. That's fine.
Okay, it is about a half an hour back through the tunnels, but
Yep.
you can do it.
Oh yeah, yep. So we make our way back.
Okay.
Backtracking our steps, and
Okay, you walk past the coins and the stone toes, or not stone, bone toes,
bone toes.
stone coins, and you get back to this other slant, and you just kind of go over it's just sort of like a pit, almost like in the floor, but you could
Right.
walk around it to keep going back to where you came, and you can start walking down that way. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, we were gonna go down this other passage because it's not a straight drop,
Right.
is it? Or
No, not at all. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll bring up the
yeah.
picture again for you. There it is. So
Okay.
you head back down there, and
Yeah.
you can see from the light it comes to an ending as well.
Okay.
Not a dead end though. Like it comes
Okay.
to an opening as well.
Okay.
Not very far down that way. Like maybe just a minute's walk.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure I gestured everyone what's happening, and we'll move up slowly to it again and shine the light beyond.
Okay, so this tunnel is, I'll say, vaguely egg-shaped. You can see like the firewalls and dimensions of it. There's a picture you can see now. On the floor, which is about 15-foot drop, maybe 20 feet at the most, you can see a big pile of what looks like poop.
I knew it.
You can also see what looks like maybe a silver staff or something sticking out of the poop, a short one, like the end of it.
So wait, how far down is it to get into this place?
About 20 feet to the bottom.
Man, I wish I had any kind of idea what spatial reality was. I have no idea how far 20 feet is.
Okay.
Well, most
your ceiling is probably 8 feet.
8 feet. Yeah.
2.5.
So it's about
of those.
twice, about a little over twice your ceiling.
When you look at a building that's more than one floor, with the materials and everything, each floor is roughly 10 feet tall, 10 feet off the ground. So a 2-story building.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to go investigate what's down there?
Well, I don't think we should all go. We don't know. Without knowing what's down there, I don't want to risk us all. I can see what's.
This sounds like it's becoming who's the most expendable of us.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have money. I can spend it. I'll go.
Well, the reach with my clava is like 15 feet if I use it as a weapon. So I'm guessing I can maybe wrap the clava around my hand and lower someone down. So I can I'm guessing that the pay is pretty light. So just leave the stone up here if you would, just as little as possible. And here, I'll hand her the other end of my clava. And
okay,
and
you unwrap your clava, And wrap
and-
one end of it around your hand. And
Yeah, and I'll get a good grip on it, and I will. I'll lower it down. It's like I said, it's going to reach 15 feet, so it should easily,
okay.
with her stretching her arms, reach the bottom.
Yes, yeah.
And I'll do
But
that.
I'm just going to have you make a strength check.
Yeah. 10.
All right, so I set the DC at 10. So
Oh.
you get down to the bottom. There are places you can put your feet that aren't in poop, or you can put your feet in the poop. It's up to you. And you're pretty sure it's poop because you can smell it.
Well, if I can navigate around the poop, I will. But I'm gonna go look to see if there's anything else going on in here. You already mentioned a staff. I'll get to that if I can't find anything else. But
The whole room, this whole cavern's only about 30 feet across, maybe a bit less, and you can see it in its entirety.
and it's just a bunch of poop with a stick sticking out of it in one place.
There's the cavern is not full of poop. There's just a large pile of it at one side on the ground with it looks like a silver stick sticking out of it.
But there's not like anything around. There's nothing like alive, sleeping.
I would describe that to you. I would have told you.
Oh wait,
Oh,
there's a gigantic
wait,
serpent.
I didn't mention the Umberhulk? What?
Okay,
You
well,
didn't see it. It was hiding.
I'm going to take the obvious bait and go look at the staff.
Okay, so it looks like a blade made of silver, the tip of it.
Now, I know the benefits of pulling a sword from a stone, but I'm not sure what the
Sword from a stone, King of all England. Sword from shit, President U.S.
there you go.
Ah,
Staff from the poop.
Points.
I pulled the staff from the poop.
Excellent. Well, any political power is, much desired. So sure, I'm going to take this thing. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to grab it so I'm not actually putting my hand directly on the sharp part. I'm going to pull it out.
Well,
Okay.
It's just a stick, though, right? Or it's like staff, or
No, it looks like a blade.
Oh, is it really? Oh, okay.
If a blade is
tip of a
sticking out of
blade.
a poo and you don't want to touch the sharp part, does that mean you're sticking your hand in the poo to grab the not sharp part?
No, I'm
Mhm.
putting my hand on either side of the blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if it's a single-edged sword, the other half of it is.
Yeah, honestly,
It's-
most swords aren't sharp enough to really you can pick them up like that. So
Is
It's
it
not a Hattori sword.
Is it a double-edged sword or a single-edged sword?
It's a double-edged sword. You can do that. There's the poo there's a little bit of as you pull it free kind of thing. It looks like a silver short sword, but the hilt is roughly the same length as the blade, and it's made of stone.
Giant dagger.
Could be.
giant.
The blade seems to be made of silver.
I am going to use prestidigitation to clean off the poop.
All right. You do some magic. The magic sputters and stalls, and then eventually sort of kicks in, and the prestidigitation works. And the poop is removed, and it looks, as I said, it's like it's about the length of a short sword, the blade, but the hilt is almost as long as the blade and made of stone. The blade looks to be pure silver.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to swing the sword around to see if it's awkward. If it's balanced
It is.
or what.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I'm going to use it two-handed and see if it's any better that way.
It is.
All right. I'm gonna walk over and I'm gonna push it up to give it to them.
Okay.
Take this thing I found.
Yeah, so I'll reach down.
You can lean down and grab it. Sure.
Yeah,
Fine.
I reach down and go ahead and grab it.
Yep.
And I pause a moment before looking at my clava. Goodbye, Pay. Adios, amigos.
Everybody leaves.
This is where you live now.
You
I-
see hard packed dirt start filling in. Now you know what caused it.
Throw me the
cross
soda,
my-
throw you the whip. No, I'll lower
Right,
I'll lower
right.
the clava.
I grab onto him, and when I get there, cross my arms, I'm like, I have magical climbing powers, so don't be a dick.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, so we'll pull you up.
Okay, no problem.
I hand the sword back to her. I will take a quick look at it though. Again, does it look like it could be either a giant dagger, or does it look like a
Yes.
sword more for a humanoid? Okay. Okay.
Let's say a giant dagger, not a giant.
Well, right.
Proportionally.
Well, we should be able, and this would also help confirm our scale from before. Does 20 feet still sound reasonable for the height of this thing, whatever it was?
Yeah, it sounds like a good approximation.
Okay. All right, I'll hand it back, and
You could estimate the width of the hand from the length of the hilt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Well, if we can get this back someplace civilized, you can certainly probably get a good penny for it, or we might be interested in having it in our museum. We can learn more about it.
Great, will you carry it? Because I have to carry this coin.
All right. So I'll take it, and I give it a quick smell, and I'll tuck it in my belt, in through my belt.
Maybe Ku should carry it, because Ku is just a really small giant.
What?
World's tallest midget.
Well, look at the shape of him. He's the same shape as a giant, only small.
Yes, and humans are dire halflings.
Exactly.
If you need me to, I can carry it. I do not have much equipment with me.
Oh, well, very well then. And so I'll give it to Ku then.
Hey, Ku, can you ask your bowl of water what it is?
Ask your bowl of water.
Can you ask your map where we are?
Kind of. I'm gonna pull out my map and pull out one of those.
This hole is
compass.
definitely not on the map.
Well, I know
Yeah.
it is. I put it on the map.
It is now.
It is not.
I put it on an estimate where I'm like, okay, we're right here, but underground.
Yeah. Giant.
I'm going to take off part of my silk wraps, Rob, and just fasten a crude sword sling out of it so that I can put this thing over my back without having to tie up my hands.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
And I guess we're gonna head back up to the entrance, and we'll hunker down for the night.
Okay. I'm just going to remind you, it wasn't necessarily a dead end where you turned back. And yeah, we're going to end it there anyway. When you get back to the entrance, you can see the plug at the top and the pile at the bottom are both greater than they were.
Okay. Can we hear any, can we still hear any muffled wind, just out of curiosity? I assume the storm's still going on.
You can't, but you're not sure you'd be able to because the plug is considerably thicker right now.
Well, we can probably open it if we jiggle the rope that's hanging down, because the rope hangs up through the plug. So if we jerk the rope back and forth, we can probably loosen it. But
possibly, do you want to do that?
No. We'll wait till next time. Yeah.
If you did it, you could maybe make enough of a hole at least here. But,
Yeah, but that'll let us sand down here too. So. And it'll also let whatever is out hunting perhaps come back in. So let's not do that.
Unless whatever is hunting decides to take the instead.
Oh, just out of curiosity, just out of curiosity, the poop. Well, it probably got the free ones. Just out of curiosity, the poop.
Yes.
Wait, was it fresh poop? Was any of it fresh?
Well, it was soft enough.
It was soft enough. You pulled a sword out of it.
Yeah. No, I was more looking at it in terms of the animal it came from. I mean, my character has some hunting, and tracking capabilities, so he knows how to look for scat and what it came from. Predator, prey, insect, bird. Just I'm looking for really general.
Well, you didn't get a close look at it, and I know what it is, so I'm just going to ask you to trust me and say you don't know.
Okay.
You know that it's nothing that you might recognize. Let's say that.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
any of those things.
Well, again, I was looking more general, like if it was, for example, a meat eater versus a plant eater would be very different, regardless of whether I knew what specifically it was. But that's fine. I'm gonna assume meat eater, but
Right. Taking a guess, most plants don't wield daggers.
yeah. Well, it wouldn't be. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fine.
Of course, that dagger had to hurt coming out.
All right, so we'll call.
Background
I'm going to call
fetishes.
Okay.
I'll call the broadcast right here.
Okay.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. We'll do it again hopefully in 2 weeks, and we'll see you.